Good morning, dear students. Now let us move on to our next topic, that is the interplanar spacing in the crystals. Okay, interplanar spacing means the distance, this interplanar, the term itself says that is a distance between the two planes, interplanar. So interplanar spacing, it is the distance between two adjacent planes. Okay, that is what is called as interplanar spacing. So normally while using this Miller indices, we are representing this lattice points in terms of DHKL, isn't it? In terms of HKL. Okay, in terms of Miller indices, we are representing the lattice points as HKL. And so here interplanar spacing, we can represent it by DHKL. Okay, DHKL. And also there is a formula for calculating this interplanar spacing. That is, the formula it is like this: 1 by DHKL the whole square, that is equal to h square divided by a square plus k square divided by b square plus L square divided by C square. Okay, so this is the formula for calculating this interplanar spacing. This formula, it is very important, and you have to calculate the interplanar spacing of different types of cubic crystals using this formula. Okay, 1 by DHKL the whole square is equal to h square divided by a square plus k square divided by b square plus L square divided by C square. And also, as you know, A, B and C, they are the length of the intercepts made by the unit planes, isn't it? A, B, C are the length of the intercepts made by the unit planes. Length of the intercepts made by unit planes. Sorry for the disturbance going on in the back. Okay. There is Google Meet all over here. So here ABC are the length of the intercepts made by the unit plane. And also this unit planes, they will be along the X, Y and Z axis that we have drawn yesterday, isn't it? It is along the X axis, Y axis and the Z axis. So this is the unit intercepts A, B and C. Okay. So this formula, it is very important, interplanar spacing and the formula. And by using this formula, you have to calculate for a cubic system, for a tetragonal system and also for an orthorhombic system. Okay, so for that you have to know the length of the intercepts. Okay, so first of all we can go through for a cubic system. Okay, so for a cubic system, see, all the intercepts will be having the same length, isn't it? That is, A is equal to B is equal to C, isn't it? So that we can apply in this formula, 1 by DHKL the whole square is equal to so and so. Okay, so again you have to write the formula. So 1 by DHKL the whole square, that is equal to h square by a square plus k square by b square plus L square divided by C square. Okay. So here you have to substitute for A, B and C. See here, A, B and C are the three of them are the same, isn't it? So substitute here. So it will be A square. We can put it as, instead of B and C, we can substitute it for A. Okay. So the total will be, denominator will be A square. So in the numerator it will be h square plus k square plus L square. Okay, denominator there will be a square. So again, taking the reciprocals, it will be equal to d HKL the whole square is equal to a square divided by, here also it will be going in the inverse, isn't it? H square divided by k square, h square plus k square plus L square. Again, taking the root of this DHKL square, it will becomes DHKL. That is the interplanar spacing between the planes. Okay, so it will be equal to square root of this quantity. So it becomes A by h square plus k square plus L square the whole raised to half. Okay, so this is the formula for calculating this interplanar spacing for a cubic system. Okay, so by using this formula, you can calculate the interplanar spacing if it is given. Okay, so this is a formula you have to by heart. DHKL is equal to A divided by h square plus k square plus L square the whole raised to half. Then the next one you have to go through for a tetragonal system. For a tetragonal system. For a tetragonal system. See, for a tetragonal system, all the intercepts are not having the same length. That is, A will be equal to B, but B will not be equal to C. That means A and B will be the same, but C is not having the same length. So again, write the formula: 1 by DHKL the whole square is equal to H square by A square plus K square divided by L square plus, B square, K square by B square plus L square divided by C square. Okay, then you have to substitute for these three. So that will be equal to H square divided by A square plus K square divided by, again we can write, instead of B we can write A. Okay, since A is equal to B. So here A square plus L square divided by C square. C not equal to A and B. So again we can simplify this as H square divided by K square the whole divided by A square plus L square divided by C square. Okay. So this is the 1 by HKL the whole square, isn't it? So again, taking the inverse of this. Okay, here there is DHKL the whole square. So taking the reverse, it will be, you have to take the LCM and it will be complicated. So no need of this. You need only this formula. Okay, 1 by DHKL the whole square is equal to H square plus K square by A square plus L square by C square. If you are given, you will be given, if a problem is there, you will be given A and C, then HKL will be there. Okay, so by simple substitution, you can calculate the interplanar spacing. Okay, so then the next, that is, next case, that is for an orthorhombic system. For an orthorhombic system. For an orthorhombic system. Here the three intercepts are not the same. That is, A not equal to B not equal to C. Okay. So by direct substitution we can write the formula. It will be like this: 1 by DHKL the whole square is equal to the original formula, isn't it? That is H square divided by A square plus K square divided by B square plus L square divided by C square. Okay, this is the original formula. Okay, so this is for an orthorhombic system. Okay, so there is a worked out example in your textbook. You have to do the problem. It is a very simple problem. You just substitute the values, and if any doubt arises, you can call me. There is no need of doing that problem in the class. Okay, just do it. So then the next topic, that is the important lattice planes of a cubic crystal. Okay, important lattice planes of a cubic crystal. Important lattice planes of a cubic crystal. So we have to go through here one by one. That is for a simple cubic lattice, for a face-centered cubic lattice, and also for a body-centered cubic lattice. See, first is the case of a simple cubic lattice or a primitive lattice. Simple cubic lattice or a primitive lattice. See, for a simple cubic lattice, the points will be at the corners, isn't it? We had seen already, isn't it? The points will be at the corners. And also here for a simple cubic lattice, the intercepts on the three axes, that is A, B and C. What about the intercepts? A will be equal to B, will be equal to C. The intercepts are all the same, or the values will be equal. And also the angles between these planes, the angles will be equal to 90 degree. Okay. So in your textbook, this lattice planes are shown. I will be, see, this is the lattice plane. See here, this lattice planes. In the case of simple cubic lattice, the Miller indices are 1, 0, 0 plane, 1, 1, 0 plane, and 1, 1, 1 plane. Okay. See the 1, 0, 0 plane. The planes will be like this. Here one plane, this is the another plane. That means it will be at equal distances. Okay. Then in the second case, a 1, 1, 0 plane means it will be cutting like this. It will be cutting this cubic crystal diagonally, isn't it? So this is the second plane, 1, 1, 0 plane. And the third one, see, it will be cutting like this through the corners. See, from the second corner, then to the first here, then to this point. Okay. So that is the planes of 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1, 1 plane. Okay. So this is the diagram. If you can, you just draw the diagrams. Okay. You have to draw the cube clearly. Then you have to join these 3 points in this case. Okay, then here also this plane, this is the plane, here this is the plane. Okay, so this is the 1 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1 1 planes. Okay, so here the angles will be equal 90 degree and the intercepts will be equal to A, B and C. Okay, so first we can see, so here for a simple cubic lattice the planes will be 1 0 0 plane, then 1 1 0 plane and also a 1 1 1 plane, isn't it? 3 planes will be there. Then you have to go, see the interplanar distances between these planes. Okay, so the first one we can take, that is the 1 0 0 plane. Okay, so according to Miller indices, we can write it as D100, isn't it? D100 means the value of H will be equal to 1, then K will be equal to 0 and L will be equal to 0. Okay, so simple substitution in the formula DHKL for a cubic system. DHKL will be equal to A divided by H square plus K square plus L square the whole raised to half. Okay, so we have to substitute. So again, A, that is equal to A divided by H square is 1 square plus K square is 0 square, L square again 0 square, the whole raised to half. That is equal to A, isn't it? A divided by 1 square raised to half, that is equal to A. Okay, so here A means, what is A? A is the side of the cube, isn't it? A is the side of the cube, that particular cube. So here the interplanar distance, that means, see here, this distance we are calculating, isn't it? The distance between these two planes for a 1 0 0 plane, that is A. Okay, that is how you are calculating the interplanar distance. So this is the first plane and this is the second plane. The distance between them is the length of the side length of that particular cube A. Okay, so similarly you have to calculate this 1 1 0, that is the distance between these two planes. Okay, this marked or shaded portion. Okay, the distance between these two planes you have to calculate by applying the same formula. Again, the next plane, that is the 1 1 0 plane. 1 1 0 plane. So again we can, in terms of Miller indices, we can write it as D110, that is equal to H is equal to 1, K is equal to 1 and L is equal to 0. Okay, so the formula is A divided by H square plus K square plus L square the whole raised to half. I am not writing the formula once again. Then A divided by 1 square plus 1 square plus 0 square the whole raised to half. That is equal to A divided by 1 plus 1 2, then raised to half, that is equal to root 2. So that is the distance between these two planes. See here, again this distance we are calculating, that is D110 plane. So this distance, it will be equal to A by root 2. Okay, so this distance between these two planes will be equal to A by root 2. Then the next plane, that is the 1 1 1 plane. Again, in terms of Miller indices, it will be representing as D111, that is equal to A divided by 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square the whole raised to half. That is equal to A divided by 3 raised to half, that means root 3. Okay, so the 111 plane, the distance will be equal to A by root 3. Okay, so then we can write the ratio between these three planes, that is D100 is to D110 is to D111 plane. The ratio will be equal to, for D100 we had got it as the side of the cube A. So A is to D110, it will be equal to A by root 2 is to D111 is equal to A by root 3. Okay. Again, this by taking the ratio, we have to simplify this ratio. So this will be equal to 1 is to 1 by root 2 is to 1 by root 3. That is equal to 1 is to 1 by root 2. We can simplify it as 0.707 the value. Then it will be again is to 1 by root 3 is 0.577. So this is the ratio of the three planes in the case of a cubic crystal lattice. Okay, simple cubic lattice. So this is the ratio between the separation of the planes 110, 110 and 111 plane. Okay. Similarly, you have to calculate the interplanar distance or interplanar spacing of FCC as well as BCC lattices. Okay. Next, we can go through the face-centered cubic lattice for an FCC. For an FCC, you have seen the lattice points will be at each face, isn't it? Lattice points will be at each face and also at the corners, isn't it? And also here the Miller indices. The Miller indices will be 200. One of the plane will be 200 plane. Then the second plane it is 220 plane, and the third plane it is a 111 plane. I will show you the diagram in the textbook. It will take a lot of time to draw, so you please go through these planes. So this is a 200 plane. See the plane, the spacing. Then the next one, that is the 220 plane. That is midway between the planes. Okay, midway between the first plane. So also it is in the diagonal manner. Okay, so that is a 220 plane. Then 111 plane that we had already seen in the previous case for a simple cubic lattice. Okay, so these are the three planes for a face-centered cubic lattice: 200, 220 and 111. You have to remember these these Miller indices. Okay, so 200, 220 and 111. Next, we can go through the interplanar spacing of each crystal of each planes. Okay, so first one, that is Miller indices for 200. 200. We can write it as D200. So the value will be, after substituting, the value will be equal to A by 2. Okay. Then for D220, it will be equal to A by 2 root 2. And for D111, it will be equal to A by root 3. Okay. So taking the ratios, D200 is to D220 is to D111. That is equal to A by 2 is to A by 2 root 2 is to A by root 3. A by root 3. That is equal to, again simplifying, 1 by 2 is to 1 by 2 root 2 is to 1 by root 3. Okay. Then on simplifying this, it will be equal to 1 is to 0.707 is to 1.154. Okay. So this is the ratio of the different planes or the interplanar spacing in the case of a face-centered cubic lattice. So you see here we are simply substituting in the formula and you have to calculate it. Okay, D200 it will be equal to A by 2 by simple substitution. Okay, hope you understood this one also. It is just a similar case as in the previous one. Okay, that is in the case of a simple cubic lattice. Then the next one, the third one, that is regarding the body-centered cubic lattice. Okay, BCC. See, body-centered cubic lattice. See here in the case of body-centered cubic lattice, we had seen the lattice points. Where are the lattice points? The lattice points will be at the corners as well as at the center, isn't it? The lattice points will be at the corners as well as at the center. So here the Miller indices are, for BCC, the Miller indices are 200, that is the first plane, then 110, second plane, and again 222, that is the third plane. Okay, then you have to calculate the interplanar spacing of these three. So the first one, D200, that is equal to A by 2. We had already calculated. Then the second one, that is D110, that is equal to A by root 2. And the third one, that is D222, that is equal to A by 2 root 3. Okay, so these are the three interplanar spacing. Okay, then you have to calculate the ratios of these three, that is D200 is to D110 is to D222 is equal to A by 2 is to A by root 2 is to A by 2 root 3. Okay. Then again on simplification, here 1 by 2, 1 by root 2 is to 1 by 2 root 3. Then again the ratio will be equal to 1 is to root 2 is to 1 by root 3. So the final value will be equal to 1 is to 1.414 is to 0.577. So this is the ratio in the case of a body-centered cubic lattice. Okay. So this much I think it is clear. So then the last session of the solid state in the topic allotted to me, that is the diffraction of X-rays by crystals. Okay, that is you have to study the Bragg's equation. It is very, very important, Bragg's equation. Okay, very, very important. It is usually asked as an essay, so don't skip that. So then the next is diffraction of X-rays by crystals. It's a very small derivation. Diffraction of X-rays by crystals. Diffraction of X-rays by crystals. So here in this we are studying this Bragg's equation and the derivation of this Bragg's equation also. See here, normally this crystals means normally it will be a series of parallel and equally spaced lines. Okay, that means each atomic lines, it will be like this. So there will be successive layers and these layers will be equally spaced. Okay, so this is the first layer, second layer, third layer and the fourth layer. Okay, like this it will be going on. So these lines, it will be, or these planes, not lines, it will be the planes. Okay, plane of a crystal, and it will be successive. Okay, successive, and it will be equally spaced lines. And also when X-rays falls on a crystal, see, suppose this is a crystal surface, this is the outermost layer or the topmost layer of that particular crystal. When X-rays fall on this crystal surface, what happens? From each layer, this light will be, or this X-rays will be reflected. So this is the incident ray and this is the reflected ray. Similarly, this is the next successive layer, isn't it? So the next successive layer will also absorb this X-ray. Okay, or the X-rays will be incident on the, or it will be penetrating the second layer also. Okay, and again it will be reflecting. So like that, this different surfaces will, the X-rays will be penetrating to the different layers of this particular crystal. So at this point, this Bragg's equation is derived. Okay. So Bragg's equation means it is a relation connecting the wavelength lambda, then angle of incidence theta, and the distance between the two successive planes d. Okay, so the Bragg's equation, that is the relation connecting the wavelength lambda, then the angle of incidence theta, and the distance between the successive planes, that is d. Distance between successive planes. So Bragg's equation gives a relation connecting all these three, lambda, theta and d. So by this this interplanar spacing we are calculating this, or this Bragg's equation was derived. Okay, so let us go through this Bragg's equation, derivation for the Bragg's equation. I am giving a slight changes from your textbook also. Also I forgot to tell you one thing. See, in your textbook, in the previous portion, that is the lattice planes in the body-centered cubic lattice, in the textbook it is given as, I think it is 100, but it is 110. Okay, you have to correct it. This is a 110 plane. Okay, you have to correct it in your textbook also. I forgot to tell that time, so please correct it also. So then the next one, we have to go through this Bragg's equation. So first of all, you have to draw this diagram. So the successive layers of a crystal, these are the successive layers. Let it be A, B, C, D of a crystal, the successive layers of a crystal. And see, when X-ray fall on the first layer and it get reflected. Okay, so this is the incident ray and this is the reflected ray. Then again it will be penetrating, the X-rays will be penetrating into the successive layers also. So again like this, there will be slight inclination in my case. You have to draw it neatly by using a scale. Okay, you all know I am not good at drawing at all. So like this you have to draw. Okay, just the angle of incidence, the incident rays and the reflected rays. Okay, and then you have to mark this point as O. Okay, this point O. Then this distance, see, this distance, what is this distance? let this point, let it be M. Okay, this distance means it is the interplanar spacing, isn't it? These are the two planes, and this distance OM, it is the interplanar spacing, or the interplanar distances between the two planes. So OM means it is D, isn't it? OM is the distance or the interplanar distance D. Okay, so in the first step you have to draw. So when one more thing, when X-rays falls on this crystal, what happens is that the angle of incidence will be equal to the angle of reflection. So here we see all these lines are equally spaced. Here some variation is there. Please excuse me. So here, first case you have to draw OL perpendicular, OL and OM perpendicular to this incident and reflected beam. Okay. OL and OM. So this one, let it be OL. This is OL and this is ON. Okay. So draw, first case you have to draw OL and ON perpendicular to incident and reflected beam. Okay. In perpendicular to incident and reflected beam. That is the first step you have to follow. Draw OL and ON perpendicular to incident and reflected beam. Then the next step is that you have to calculate delta. Delta means, delta is the difference in path length. Okay. Delta is the difference in path length. Delta is the difference in the path length. Just a second. See, the delta means it is the difference in path length, and here when we are drawing this OL and ON perpendicular to the incident and the reflected beam, the difference in the path length of the two waves. See here, this is the difference in the path length of the two waves, isn't it? That is LM and Mn, isn't it? So this is the difference in the path length delta of the two waves. Okay, so delta means it is the difference in path length of the waves. Difference in path length of the waves. So while we are drawing these two perpendicular, we can write it as delta. The path length difference will be equal to Lm plus Mn. Okay, so we can write it as delta is equal to Lm plus Mn. So then in the next step we can say that, see this path length, it should be a whole number multiple of wavelength. Okay, not path length. This this Lm plus Mn, Mn, it should be a whole number multiple of the wavelength. Okay, this Lm plus Mn is a whole number multiple of wavelength. Whole number multiple of lambda, or whole number multiple of wavelength. So we can write it as delta is equal to this whole number multiple means it will be equal to, sorry, Lm plus Mn, it will be equal to n lambda. Okay, n lambda. So we can write it as n lambda is equal to Lm plus Mn. Okay. So delta, it is the difference in path length of the waves, and delta is equal to Lm plus Mn, and also delta will be a whole number multiple of the wavelength. So therefore n lambda is equal to Lm plus Mn. Okay. So next case is that we have to go through these two triangles. Okay. See here we have got two triangles, OLM and ONM, isn't it? And also here you have to mark the angle theta also. So here, see this angle, it is theta. This angle also theta. Okay. This see, in total this angle it will be equal to 90 degree. Okay. Only this much theta, this much also theta. Okay. Here also this angle theta and this angle theta. Okay. See this angle theta, here this angle theta is 1 theta. Okay. So you have to mark that also. Then again, considering these two triangles, triangle OLM, this is the point O, OLM and ONM or OMN. Okay. Triangles, consider triangles OLM and triangle OMN. Okay, two triangles OLM and OMN, and also here this is a perpendicular line, isn't it? So we can say that these two triangles are congruent to each other. These triangles OLM and ONM are congruent to each other. Congruent, I think the symbol is like this, is it right? So triangles OLM is congruent to triangle OMN. Therefore, we can say that the two length, that is LM, will be equal to MN. Okay, LM will be equal to MN. That is one characteristic feature of a congruent triangle, isn't it? So from this, we can say that LM is equal to MN. Okay, let it be there. Then another thing is that we have to calculate sine theta. Okay, sine theta. So sine theta means, what is the formula? Sine theta is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse, isn't it? So here, if we are considering, if this is the angle theta, then the opposite side it is LM, isn't it? Opposite side LM divided by hypotenuse is OM. Okay, so we can write sine theta as, sine theta is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse. That's only for your knowledge, you doesn't write it in your examination. Okay, so opposite side by hypotenuse. So here this is the angle theta, you have to consider this angle. So opposite side of this angle, it is LM divided by this OM. Hypotenuse is OM. So opposite side is LM, hypotenuse is OM. Okay, again what is LM divided by what is OM? OM, that is the interplanar distance, isn't it? Already we had written OM is equal to D, that is the interplanar distance. So LM divided by D. Okay, so therefore we got this value as sine theta is equal to LM by D, or LM is equal to D sine theta. Okay, LM is equal to D sine theta. Then already we had got an equation, n lambda is equal to, what is that equation? N lambda is equal to LM plus Mn, and also Lm is equal to Mn. Therefore, we can write it as 2Lm, isn't it? Lm is equal to Mn, that we had got here. So it is equal to 2Lm. So n lambda is equal to 2Lm. Then again, what is Lm? Lm is equal to D sine theta. Therefore, we can say that n lambda is equal to, substituting for Lm, Lm is equal to 2D sine theta. So this is the Bragg's equation. It is very, very, very important. N lambda is equal to 2D sine theta, where lambda is the wavelength. Lambda is the wavelength. Then D is the interplanar distances between the two. Between the two planes, then theta is the angle. So if you are given theta, then D and N, we can calculate this. You can calculate the interplanar distance. Okay, so this is the Bragg's equation, and you have to study it very clearly. And also N can have values 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. if theta is increased. Okay, n can have values, n is a whole number integer, okay, whole number. So n can have values 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So depending on this, the value will be changing. So this is the Bragg's equation, and you have to study it very clearly. And also I had uploaded the notes of solid state in your Google Classroom. Either you have to take printouts, or else you have to write your notes. Okay, whichever is possible by you, you can do it. And also now I think the solid state is also over for me. The rest of the portion will be taken by Lucky. And also one more thing is that now the remaining topic, it is regarding the supramolecular chemistry. All other topics are finished. Supramolecular chemistry, I think it will be finished in 1 or 2 hours. Okay, so up to this you have to study very well, and also be prepared for a interactive session or a question answer session in our next sessions. Okay, in our next classes. Then also your examinations are also coming in the next week. That is, after Puja holidays, you will be having internal exams. Okay, so you have to study. Don't waste time. If you had got any pending videos to see, you have to update it. And also after the examinations, I will be changing the privacy settings, or the video won't be available for you after that. So you have to complete the videos, and study it properly. Okay. Please write the lecture notes also. And also after this, seeing this session, you have to upload the lecture notes in the classroom. Only then I will be giving you attendance. Okay, I want to see each and every student's note. Okay, you have to submit the lecture notes also in Google Classroom today itself. The time I will be informing you. Okay, thank you.